Welcome back to Time Out with J and G. It's Jay over here. It's G over there.
Yo, what is going on, everyone?
And today we are back. It's the NBA starts tonight, man. We're recording this on Tuesday night, so I guess you guys won't see this till Wednesday. Opening night happened last night for you guys, but the NBA starts tonight. We have the Lakers and the Timberwolves, and then what is it? The Knicks and hold on, let me see if I can pull up the schedule here. NBA schedule. I know there's two games tonight. The Celtics and Knicks,
Yep.
And then the Lakers and Timberwolves are tonight. It's going to be a very, very great opening night. Who do you have winning those two games? We'll go ahead and do that right now.
I have Lakers winning that game, and I have the Celtics winning that, the first game.
I think I'm going to go Celtics, Timberwolves, unfortunately. I don't want to say Timberwolves, but I don't have a lot of hope in our team right now. So we'll go with that.
The first game, Bronny James and LeBron James.
Bronny's going to be playing.
They got to win.
Yeah, we'll see. But we have a lot of stuff to get into today. We have a lot of extension news that happened. Yesterday was the deadline for the rookie extensions, and a lot of players got paid. But honestly, a lot of players did not get maxes. So it was quite an interesting day for a lot of teams. I think they got some players on some really good contracts. We obviously have our college football report that Levi's going to offer to us. And then, of course, the main topic of today's episode is we are doing our NBA award predictions. MVP, Depoy, Rookie of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, all the awards we could think of. Did you do a Clutch Player of the Year?
No, I did not.
Okay, neither did I. I forgot about that award. So we can figure that out on the fly maybe. But so we have a very, very, very big jam-packed episode today. And how you doing today, Levi? I think I've already asked, but I don't know.
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Pretty good. It's I'm just really excited for basketball to get back. I felt like it's been a long time. I mean, yeah, we've had the preseason, but you know, it's a lot of players have been sitting out. So I'm ready for the real thing to start. But we already have some news coming out of Philadelphia that both Joel Embiid and Paul George will not be playing tonight or tomorrow night. They open their first game is on Wednesday night. They will not be playing. Joel Embiid is out for this entire week. So whatever 2 or 3 games they have this week, he will not be playing in. And Paul George is getting reevaluated later this week. So maybe he only misses the first game or two, but still not exactly the start you're wanting to hear as a Philadelphia fan.
I'm just gonna say this now. If Embiid plays in like 50 games, because he said he's not going to be playing back-to-backs.
Yeah.
The cap for this Sixers team, in my opinion, is 50 wins.
Yeah.
Maybe 55, because if he only plays 50 games, that's 32 games still left on the table. And you don't know how many you're going to get with Paul George and Tyrese Maxey. I think they might split that. So let's just say they win 15 games, and then let's just say they win 30. That's putting them, I think, 45 to 50 wins for the Sixers team is about what it's going to be. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think that gets them a top 4 seed. I think they're going to be 5 or 6.
It's definitely not a good start, especially like I said with Joel already saying he's not playing back-to-backs and then missing the first however many games of the season. Now, I mean, they said he's gonna miss the first week, and I think they're then going to reevaluate him. It could be another week or two. We don't really know what's going on at this point in time. So, a team that was praised for having one of the best off seasons already off to a pretty rough start. Obviously, Chris Middleton isn't playing for the Bucks either tomorrow night. That's not as big of a story, but still, Chris Middleton's out. And I think, Kawhi Leonard, of course. I talk about Kawhi Leonard on my show, Cloud Report. I'm gonna plug it right here. It's a new series I'm starting every Sunday. I'm just doing a recap of the past week, and this week I talked about, for the first episode, Kawhi Leonard news with all his injury stuff going on. And he's not going to be – it's indefinite. I don't actually think we talked about that on this podcast. I think that came out after we recorded.
Yeah, so, no, we didn't talk about it at all.
Yeah, they said Kawhi's out indefinitely to start the season with his right knee, with the swelling, inflammation, stuff like that. And I kind of said it on my show that inflammation is something that, like, you can't really have a timetable for. Because I don't know if you remember last season, OG Anunoby had his elbow inflammation. And it kept saying, like, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. Like, inflammation is something you can't really do much about. It's more just, like, letting the inflammation go down. So there's not really a lot they can really do in this scenario besides wait for Kawhi Leonard. And that's a rough one for a Clippers team that obviously lost Paul George in the offseason. And James Harden is 35 years old. We don't really know what we're going to get from him.
Yeah, no, it's honestly sad to see, because Kawhi Leonard has been one of the better playoff performers. You know, he willed that. Yeah. He had some help on that Raptors team. I'm going upstairs.
What is I was gonna say, what is happening over there on your side? You got real close and it got real dark.
Yeah, no, I went upstairs because my dad's making dinner soon. But anyways, no, it's really sad to see because Kawhi Leonard's been one of the best playoff performers we've seen, whether it was with the
Yep.
Spurs or with the Raptors. And just to see this kind of crumble because of the inflammation, it's kind of sad to see. Like, he has the resume of a Hall of Famer, but the stats
Mhm.
of Thaddeus Young.
You mean like playing time wise? Yes, yeah, I agree. It's rough. Um, there's a very good chance. I think, like I said in my episode, go check that out. It's on my channel. If you want to hear my more in depth talk about this, but like I just there's a chance this Clippers team is a play-in team or worse. They're not in the playoffs at all, depending how long Kawhi is out for. Because the team isn't great around him. We'll have to see what James Harden can do. See if he can play even to a percentage of his former MVP self at this point in time. But I don't know. It's a rough situation over there in LA, especially because they just opened their new arena. Like, this is their first season with their brand new arena. They're very own. They're not sharing the Staples Centers or Crypto.com arena, whatever it is now in LA. They're not sharing with the Lakers anymore. They finally kind of like are trying to break out of that younger brother role of the Lakers, and you're missing pretty much all your good players from last season to start the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad the Clippers are going through because they had a really good team, and a lot of us thought that they would make some noise in the playoffs, and it kind of just
Mm-hmm.
disappeared because of Kawhi missing time with the inflammation. And I know there are people out there saying he should consider retiring because of how old he is and everything else. But it's kind of just like when he's playing, he's one of the best players in the league. Let's just be flat out
Yeah.
honest. I still
Yeah.
think he can get there. It's just like you said, inflammation. You don't know. You know what I mean? That's one
Yep.
of the things that's just up in the air, and you kind of just got to play it by ear. Kind of, you got to kind of guess.
Yep. Yep. All right. So moving on to more of the stuff we want to talk about today. The first one is just a report that came out from Draymond Green, and then there was another quote from Steph Curry. Um, the basically what it was is the Warriors have plans to acquire both Paul George and Lauri Markkanen to form a big four, but Draymond Green says the Clippers and Danny Ainge were being difficult. The quote is the conversation was always about that possibility. You get both those guys, you make a huge splash, but the Clippers weren't really willing to play ball, and then Danny Ainge was being Danny Ainge. And then Steph kind of had a quote basically saying he doesn't think a lot of teams are like Steph doesn't think a lot of teams are going to be willing to help out the Warriors, which he's probably right about. I
Yeah,
think a lot of teams are like, whatever, let them do their thing. They're going to go through their years of turmoil. Um, but yeah, if we remember like beginning of free agency before Paul George signed to the 76ers, there was that report that he was going to most likely sign with the Golden State Warriors. And I know we came on here and we talked about how that would be a cool thing. Like that maybe I don't know, we don't know if it made him like a playoff or a championship contender, but Paul George, then that fell through. And then there's conversation apparently that they were trying to talk to Utah to get Lauri Markkanen, and I don't know what that trade offer really would have been.
and knowing how Danny Ainge is from being a Celtics fan, he would have wanted picks. Like let's just be,
Yeah.
would have wanted a lot of picks. And
Mm-hmm.
the Warriors picks are not that great, I'm gonna be honest. Because of
Yeah.
they're usually back into the playoff or in the playoff. So like their picks are usually middle to the pack or back.
Yeah.
But I mean it could just be banking on the future like he did when he traded KG and Paul Pierce for all them Brooklyn picks. But
Yeah.
Danny Ainge, he loves his draft picks, as we've seen in the past.
He does. He does. All right, let's jump into some extensions we got. A lot of rookie extensions, but there's one extension I want to talk about before we get to the rookie extension. It is the Aaron Gordon extension. Denver Nuggets forward Aaron Gordon has agreed to a 4-year, $133 million contract extension with the franchise with a player option in 2028, 2029. So that isn't quite a max deal. It's a little bit less than a max deal, which I know a lot of people were talking about. Like, does Aaron Gordon deserve a max? And then if they pay Aaron Gordon a max, what does the rest of the team look like? And even with paying Aaron Gordon this amount of money, it's still a lot of money. I think it's well deserved. I think he's probably the perfect four to be playing next to Nikola Jokic. But then you have to look at this team, man. They're paying Jamal Murray a lot of money. They're paying Michael Porter Jr. a lot of money. Now they're paying Aaron Gordon a lot of money. And then they're obviously paying Jokic a lot of money. Jokic isn't going anywhere. I think he retires as a Nugget. Jamal Murray, I think, is probably going to finish his career with the Nuggets at some fashion. But now it's like you have Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon that are your two fitting pieces, but aren't like the two main guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with giving Aaron Gordon this contract, they have a championship already with this core, so I think it doesn't make it as bad. Because if they didn't have a championship and they're paying all this money, you don't really know what you're expecting. But having this championship already does kind of help the cause. But but maybe that means in 2 to 3 years, Michael Porter Jr. It could be gone.
I was gonna say, let me play devil's advocate here. If you're the GM of the Nuggets, who do you value more, Aaron Gordon or Michael Porter Jr.? Because one of them is gonna have to go here in the next couple years, just because of
I
the standpoint.
It's tough because, like I said, I think Aaron Gordon's like the perfect 4-man beside Nikola Jokic, and he offers a lot of things defensively. On the offensive side of the ball, he's a good cutter. He's not really that good of a shooter anymore. But and then on the other side, I mean, Michael Porter Jr. is a 6'10" sniper. You know what I mean? Like, he's not the best defensively. I know he doesn't move the ball a lot, but like, it's hard to find guys in the NBA that are 6'10", can move on the perimeter and shoot the ball as well as he does. So like, I think it just comes to like, I think it depends what the team is in 2 years. If this is a team still trying to compete, I don't know. Aaron Gordon might be the one to go, but it's gonna be real tough.
I think it's gonna be whoever gets the better offer.
That's fair.
Whoever's gonna bring in more picks and pieces and everything else is gonna be the person that gets traded. Whoever has more value in the end.
Kind of like the Cat Rudy Gobert thing. It's like you probably want to trade Rudy Gobert, but Cat's going to bring you in more assets back.
Yeah.
So you end up trading Cat. Okay. Next is Atlanta Hawks forward Jalen Johnson has agreed to a 5-year, $150 million rookie contract extension with the franchise. And again, not quite a max. It's $30 million a year. Not quite a max as well. So I think the Hawks got a really good contract here. Jalen Johnson was their second best player last year. And I think at this point, you have Trae Young being their number one guy. You have Zachary Ricochet, they just drafted first overall, is hoping to, take that step into being a real pivotal guy with them. But I think Jalen Johnson is the guy that you have on the team right now going into his fourth season that, like, you have a sample size of Jalen Johnson. You know that he could be a very good player. I think you're hoping for right now he takes the role as a 2 option behind Trae Young and then just kind of see what you have with Zachary Ricochet. And I think getting him for $30 million for 5 years, like he could be within 5 years, he could be an all-star. You're only paying him $30 million, which $30 million sounds like a lot of money, but you got to realize what the cap is nowadays. Everybody's getting paid $30+ million. So it's kind of the new normal now. I see a lot of people that like this. I also like it. And I think it's a great deal for both Jalen Johnson and for the Hawks.
Yeah, absolutely. And with them trading away DeJounte Murray, they kind of have a hole. You know what I mean? They did have that hole is that, they need that second score. And DeJounte kind of filled it a little bit, but now it's more prevalent than ever that they need it. So I feel like as long as he can progress and show even more improvement than what he already has, this Atlanta Hawks team, if they give Onyeka Okongwu some more minutes over Clint Capella, I feel like this Hawks team could make a push for the playoffs.
Yeah, I think in the East, I think they're going to be a play-in team. I wouldn't be surprised if Clint Capella is not on the team after the trade deadline. Onyeka Okongwu hasn't really progressed and jumped out the way I think they wanted to, but I also think it's because he's been kind of stuck behind Clint Capella. But I also think if he was good enough, he would have outplayed Clint Capella, maybe took that minute. So it's kind of a catch-22. I think it also depends how they are at the season. If they're, again, in the Eastern Conference, I think they're almost like a given to get into the play-in because there's a lot of bad teams in the Eastern Conference. But if they're having a season where they're like, this isn't working the way we wanted to, I think Clint Capella and potentially DeAndre Hunter are 2 guys that, and then Bogdan Bogdanovic are 3 guys that potentially could not be on the team come the end of the season.
I think the Hawks are going to be active in trading away players depending on what they're.
Yeah, and maybe I'm not saying this trade deadline, but I think there's a world where in the next 2 years, there's a world where Trae Young walks into the office, maybe asked out, because this team, they had their conference finals run a couple years ago, but they have not done anything since, and they're not really coming close to doing anything since then. And there might be a world where it's like Atlanta wants to go back into a rebuild, and you have a 25-year-old point guard who's one of probably the top 5, definitely a top 10, arguably a top 5 point guard in the league when he's fully healthy. He's probably going to want to go somewhere where he can compete for a championship instead of going through a rebuild until he maybe like 30.
Now, I got one question for you here.
Okay.
There's a team in the Portland Trailblazers that just drafted a center. Do you like the DeAndre Ayton fit for the Hawks? If Portland's willing to trade him?
No, I don't. I don't because DeAndre Ayton's play style doesn't match with Trae Young at all, I don't think. I think Trae Young's obviously one of the best passers in the league. He needs the ball in his hand to be effective scoring and passing. And the Clint Capella or Onyeka Okongwu type of center is the perfect center for Trae Young. A guy that can set picks, can roll to the basket, can catch lobs, play good defense. And that's pretty much everything DeAndre Ayton doesn't do. DeAndre Ayton's more of a guy, he wants to post touches. He wants to get in the post. He wants to work. And I think the Hawks potentially could be a very fast-paced team this season with a lot of young guys they have on the roster. And I just think bringing in a guy like DeAndre Ayton would slow down the team completely. And I just don't think it meshes well with the players they have and with Trae Young.
Okay.
DeAndre Ayton's a weird one because there's not a lot of places he can go where I think he is going to get those touches that he wants.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He's got to, if he can morph himself more into a pick and roll type of center, I think he could find more opportunity. And he did a little bit of that last year with Portland, more than he did ever in Phoenix. But it's still not to the level where teams are like, we think we can win with him being our starting center. But I don't know. DeAndre Ayton's still, I think, like 26, 27. So he's got some time, but it's looking kind of weird for him right now. Next, Orlando Magic guard Jalen Suggs has agreed to a 5-year, $150.5 million rookie contract extension. So he got $0.5 million more than Jalen Johnson did.
0.5.
And the thing about Jalen Suggs' contract that I do like is he had last year he kind of had one of the more breakout seasons. And they capitalized that when giving him a 5-year deal, but it's decreasing. It starts at $30 million, and by the end of the contract, it's $26 million.
Ooh.
So they're banking on him getting better, but them still paying him less money over that point in time.
So they're kind of fronting the money.
Yes, they're front-loading the contract. They just paid Franz Wagner $200+ million. So that's a big contract they have to worry about. Paolo, in about a year or two, is going to be extended. I think this was Paolo's second season, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So after this season, Paolo is eligible for his rookie contract extension. He's going to get a lot of money because he's really damn good. They just brought in KCP on like $20-some million, $20 to $30 million. They have a lot. This Magic team is young. They just paid Jonathan Isaac a lot of money. Wendell Carter got extended. Like, this Magic team is spending a lot of money for a young team, but they're trying to compete right away. They were the 4 or 5 seed last year, so they're trying to capitalize and really kind of break up into that playoff echelon. So I think getting a guy like Jalen Suggs on a contract that, again, it goes from like 30 to 26, not a crazy drop off, but it does save you a little bit more money down the line where you're going to have to pay Paolo. You'll figure out what goes on with Franz. KCP will probably be off the team in 2 years, like 2 to 3 years. I think he'll be off the team. Wendell Carter might be off the team. Jonathan Isaac, I don't know. It's like, I think people are going to see $30 million for Jalen Suggs and think it's a little bit much. But I think in context of the team and what they're trying to do, I think it's a good contract.
Yeah, no, and if you just look at the overall like context of the team, like you said, they're all like, this team is young. Mm-hmm. This team is really young, especially their starting 5. So if you can lock them up for the next 4 to 5 years, who knows what the potential of this team is going to be in the next 4 to 5 years? We could be talking about the Magic in the finals in like 3 to 5 years. Realistically,
it could be.
This team is young. Paolo's balling out. Franz needs to find his shot a little bit more for this season coming up. But, sky's the limit for this Magic team, especially if they can pick up all their young guys, like I said, for the next 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, I like it. Next, New Orleans Pelicans guard, he's more of a wing. Trey Murphy III has agreed on a 4-year, $112 million rookie contract extension. I think a good value contract for a guy like Trey Murphy. The only thing I don't like about this deal, and it's not even him or the deal, it's the team. They're a team that kind of has their front 4 is I don't know who's going to play for them. I don't know who's going to start for them this year because you have to choose between CJ McCollum, DeJounte Murray, Herb Jones, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Trey Murphy III. That's 6 players I just named, and none of them can be centers, really. Well, I know they said that Zion's going to take some minutes at center, but does that mean Daniel Tice is starting at center for him for a good part of the year? Kind of rough. It's like you're now going to have either CJ McCollum, who's making $30+ million, come off the bench, or Herb Jones, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, coming off the bench. It's like Trey Murphy III is still behind Brandon Ingram because Brandon Ingram at this point in time to start the year is on the team. Yeah. It's like They're just paying a lot of guys that are playing similar positions, and I just don't. I think this is a good contract, but I'm in my head. Maybe this is not true at all. This contract is almost a way of showing we're moving on from Brandon Ingram at some point in time.
It could be. It could be. I also seen that. I can't remember if it was Herb Jones or Trey Murphy III that they were going to get prominent center minutes.
Zion.
No.
Oh, Herb Jones. I did see that. Yes, which is interesting because I think Herb Jones is. I mean, he's not like center height, but he definitely does have some. I
think he's
height to him.
8.
Let's see here if I can.
I want to say
Herb Jones
6'8" or 6'9", but I could.
He's 6'7".
6'7".
But we know he's one of the best defenders in the league, perimeter defenders in the league, and he can rebound pretty well. So like, I think they're gonna like because they already mentioned before Zion's gonna take some center minutes too. So I guess they're gonna have like a center rotation of Zion, Daniel Tyson, Herb Jones, and then Yves Messi might get some minutes, but I don't know if he's gonna get a lot of minutes his rookie year. I don't love that. I don't love that, man. I really don't.
They could also just be planning to trade Brandon Ingram for a center. You know what I mean? Like in the first part of the season, they could trade Brandon Ingram and get a center in here.
Jared Allen.
Ooh.
You have then you run a lineup of like, well, like in Cleveland you have Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell. Insert 3. It could be like Max Strus. It could be somebody like Isaac Okoro, somebody like that, and then Brandon Ingram and Evan Mobley down to 5, or you put Brandon Ingram at the 3 and figure out something between the 4 and the 5, and then you would have that would leave you with a lineup of DeJounte, CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Zion. It's still kind of a weird one. Like, it's still kind of a weird one, but I think it'd be... Well, no, yeah, because that would solve your center issue, but you'd still have to have somebody coming off your bench. Either Herb Jones or Trey Murphy.
Yeah, whoever's coming off...
Or CJ McCollum.
I was saying, whoever's coming off your bench is going to be up for 6th man of the year, I can tell you that.
It's also going to be paying him a lot of money to be on a bench.
Yeah. But it's also just like, this is just a weirdly constructed team.
It is a weirdly... There's something about this Pelicans team I just don't like. I like a lot of the players on the team. I just don't really like the construction of the team.
Yeah, unless they're planning on trading CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram.
I mean, I don't want to say it's impossible, but I don't know what kind of market CJ McCollum has at like $30+ million right now. But
yeah, it's a little.
We've seen him get traded before, so
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
the last two here are from the same team, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about them. Jalen Green and the Houston Rockets have agreed to a 3-year, $106 million rookie extension. Now, the interesting thing about this offer is that it's only a 3-year deal, but it's also a 2+1 with an option on the 3rd year, which is the first time in NBA history that's ever happened, that's ever been negotiated on a rookie extension. So it's a bit of money, $30 million plus to pay Jalen Green. A little bit of money, a little bit higher, I think, than they probably wanted to pay him. But I think it's also because it's only a 2+1 year deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not 5 years where they're locked in for a long time. They could play this 2 years, and if Jalen Green doesn't really progress the way they think based off of what because he had a really, really good stretch at the back half of last year. And if they think that's real, then they have 3 years of him on a good contract. If it's not real, you can kind of get out of it after 2 years.
So it is a team option, not a player.
I'm pretty sure. I will double check right now, but I'll go ahead and say what you're going to say.
And I'm presuming the way you're talking about it is a team option, but to get him for the next 2 years on a good contract, I mean you're looking pretty solid for the Rockets, especially with Alperen Sengun. I believe they still have Freddie.
Yep.
Blanking on.
It's a player option.
It's a player option. Ooh.
Yeah, for $37 million, almost $38 million.
That's a weird one then. I guess if he wants out because they drafted Reed Shepherd, if he wants out and Reed Shepherd pops.
They have Reed Shepherd, they have Amin Thompson, they have Cam Whitmore, they have Dillon Brooks still. I don't know if Dillon Brooks will be there by the end of that contract, but yeah, they have a lot of guys that play similar positions to him.
So I mean, he might just say, I want out because not getting the minutes or someone's on the come up and it's gonna kind of conflict with something. And he may say, you know what, I'm gonna test my value on in free agency.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't know. I like I said, I like the contract. There really wasn't any of these extensions that I didn't like, if I'm being really honest with you. I think they were all pretty good value. Again, I think Jalen Green was the most wild card member of this rookie extension class, and they got him, like I said, a 2+1. It is a player option. Chances are he's going to accept it for almost $38 million, unless, like I said, something else happens. Maybe for the next 2 years he plays phenomenal, and he declines it to get even more money. And then it's like, then the Rockets can make the decision to let him go at that point in time or to bring him back. You know what I mean? So there's always that upside to it as well. But I don't know. I think, like I said, Jalen Green had a really, really good stretch at the back half of last season. We kind of made comments about him on the podcast that he just was very inefficient, wasn't doing well, and then he popped off. So you're welcome, Rockets fans. It was because of us.
Yep. Solely because of us.
That's right. Only us. So then the last one we'll do here is, like we mentioned, his teammate Alperen Sengun has agreed on a 5-year, $185 million rookie extension with the Rockets. Again, not the max. I think the max he could have got was like, was it like 220 something? So he took about 40 million less than the max he could have took, which I think is just another great value for the Rockets. Because honestly, by the end of this 5-year contract, Alperen Sengun could be an all-star. And you're just getting him on a good value. So I think the Rockets had a fantastic offseason.
I think if Sengun progresses like I think he will,
mm-hmm.
he's going to be almost a lock for a triple-double a night.
Okay.
And in the next 3 years, because he has been nicknamed Baby Jokic or Mini Jokic.
Yeah, I don't think his passing's quite as good, but I get it. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like in the next 3 years, like 3 years from now, if his passing develops like I think it will, he could be, like a 19, 10, and 12 type player.
That's I don't know. That's some lofty stats to throw up there, but I just don't think we're going to see a world where he averages that.
Or like 18, 8 assists, and like 11 boards.
Yeah, I just the team he plays with right now, there's a lot of guys that get their own buckets. I don't think there's a world where he averages that many assists, just because it's just the kind of the team he plays with. The Nuggets and Jokic are built around a team that Jokic is the ball handler, and you get it to their shooters. The Rockets have a lot more people that want the ball in their hands for him to average 8 to 10 assists. I understand your sentiment. I think he's a good passer, but I honestly, unfortunately for him, on the way this team's constructed, I don't see him averaging more than 5 or 6. I mean, let me look at his stats last year.
Like I said, I'm not saying this year because Jalen Green didn't get that extension and the ball handlers they do have. Like I'm talking like 3 to 4 years down the road, mm-hmm. when people have proven themselves, because Jalen Green might not even be on a team at that point.
Okay, so he averaged 21, 9, and 5 last year. But again, I give it to him. Then again, Jalen Green might be gone, but you'll probably have Reed Sheppard, Cam Whitmore, Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason's still on the team, Amin Thompson. Like, they have a lot of other people that will want the ball in his hand. I get your sentiment, and I'm not going to say it's impossible. I just think I don't want to put lofty expectations like that on there quite yet for my guy. Anything else about that Alperen Sengun extension?
No, I think it's a solid deal for both parties involved.
Yeah, all right. So that'll wrap up our little news report. That means we're going to jump into Levi's college football report of the week.
All right, now week 8 in college football. Little quick review. Number 24 Michigan went into Illinois and lost 7-21. Illinois has honestly, I believe they're undefeated at this point in the season. Them or Indiana, I'm not 100% sure right off the top of my head, but Illinois going to be a thorn in the side of some of the top teams in the Big Ten, in my opinion. They're playing really good. They just, in my opinion, knocked off Michigan. Michigan's out of the top 25. Illinois did jump up to 20, jumped up 2 spots over that win. But, yeah, I'm liking how Illinois is playing football. Now we go to the top 5 matchup everybody was watching. Number 5, Georgia beats number 1, Texas, 30-15. Mm-hmm. Texas fans, some of them are banned for the remainder of the season because of throwing trash on the field.
Did you? I thought I saw the report was fake, that those texts were fake, because it was from a California number.
I'm not 100% sure. I mean, it was out there, a lot of sources, but it could be wrong. But it's wild.
Oh, also, real quick, I want to jump in. Illinois did lose to Penn State. Okay. Indiana is undefeated.
Okay, Indiana's undefeated. Illinois, 1 loss, but Illinois is still a really good team. Anyways, but Georgia kind of brought Texas expectations down by coming to the SEC in this game. Georgia, I believe, went to 2. Oregon's 1. Texas dropped to 5. I mean, still top 5, still competitive in the SEC. Now to my favorite team, Tennessee. They beat number 7 Alabama 24-17. They did storm the field. Great win for Tennessee. Great comeback when they were down 7-0. Fought back and won. I feel like this is one of the few times we've actually come back and won under Josh Heupel. Shout out to him. He has a winning record against, I believe, a winning record against Florida and Bama so far in his short coaching career for Tennessee. I think it's 4 years from now, but shout out to them. Now on to week 9. On Friday night, we have number 17 Boise State at UNLV. UNLV has been playing some good football. They did have that quarterback trouble where their starter, went through that whole thing. I don't think we have a clear reality of what actually happened, but UNLV still playing some good ball. But Boise State, Ashton Jeanty, I got Boise State to win.
Hell yeah. I also did want to jump in real quick. There's my essay, the website here, it says, a spokesperson for Texas Athletics debunked the post, saying the post is fake and that, quote, no action or messaging has taken place yet about banning fans. So it's possible they might be, but that original post that went around with the text message was not real.
Okay, well, then that clears it up. Alrighty. So, Boise
I just want to jump in there and let you know about, so everybody's like, oh, well, it actually wasn't true.
Yeah, I got Boise State to win. What about you?
Yes, Boise State to win. My guy, Austin Jeanty, I need him to, hey, he was on that live stream. I don't know what he was doing with that live stream, but he was talking about potential teams he wanted to play for. And he said he grew up in Frisco, Texas, and that he would be a hometown hero if he played in Dallas. So, hey, well, the only problem is he said he wants to play in Dallas. That means Jerry Jones has no interest in drafting him anymore. Because that's just, unfortunately, how it goes.
I actually, literally right before we recorded this, I seen a thing on ESPN that said Jerry Jones said that Derrick Henry would not have the type of season he's having in the Cowboys offense.
Which I agree with to an extent. Yes, because he's playing alongside Lamar Jackson, who's obviously an insane running threat. He also has a better offensive line in Baltimore. Would he be having a season he is now in Dallas? No. He'd be doing a hell of a lot better than Zeke is, though. Like, he would just, I think Derrick Henry would still be a top 5 back if he was in Dallas. Well, he's a top 5 back. But I think if he played in Dallas instead of Baltimore there, I think he still would be a top 5 back that he is right now.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just Jerry getting old and he also went on the radio show the other week, the Cowboys radio show, and said that he would get new people to ask new questions because they were questioning some of his decisions. Like, I think at this point in time, Jerry Jones has lost his mind, and I think he sees that his bullshit talks that he gives people every year is finally not working anymore, and he's flailing around, he's panicking, and he's just getting pissed off and saying anything he wants because he knows he's in the wrong, but instead of admitting he's in the wrong, he's going to try to double down on everything he's done and make us seem crazy as fans.
Yeah, no, very, very interesting stuff going down in Jerry's world.
Yeah.
On to the next game, we have number 20 Illinois, who just beat Michigan, going to Oregon to face number 1, the Ducks, ranked number 1. This to me smells upset. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
This has a little bit of upset to me. Illinois coming in, like I said, they have one loss to Penn State, played Penn State tough, but I think Illinois are some dogs, and Oregon, even though they are going to be at home, I wonder what jerseys they're going to come out with. So I'm going to be on the lookout for that.
For sure.
Oregon has some of the best jersey combinations in the country.
100%. Oh yeah, 100%.
But I know Oregon is favored. They are at home, but I have Illinois coming in with the upset loss.
I can't go against the Ducks, man. Those jerseys, man, I can't do it. It's like watching the Seattle Seahawks, what was that, bright green highlighter they used to wear? They might still wear it sometimes. I don't know. I can't. I'm riding with the Oregon Ducks, man.
You're the Ducks.
I'm riding with the Ducks, the mighty Ducks.
Alrighty, on to our next game. We have number 12 Notre Dame at number 24 Navy. I believe this is
taking Navy.
Taking Navy?
No talks needed. I don't like Notre Dame, and my brother's in the Navy, so I'm going Navy.
We're going Navy. Navy having a really good year. Ranked top 25. Them and Army are ranked in the top 25 for the first time since I think the 60s.
Yep.
So it's been a while since they've both been ranked and undefeated at that. And there's a small chance, depending on what goes on with Boise State, that Army or Navy could make it to the college football playoffs as that last conference champion.
That would be nuts. That would be very. I would be at a game. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would be at a Navy game, 100%.
And so I got Navy to win, like you just said. You have Navy. It's good for the bit. This is just a massive bit that I feel like everyone in college football, except for like Notre Dame fans, we want to happen.
Yeah, okay? Pretty much.
We want it to happen. Last game that I have, number 8 LSU goes to number 14 Texas A&M to Kyle Field. Texas A&M has, I'm gonna be honest, has been quite literally a juggernaut this season in my opinion.
Yeah.
For a team ranked 14, they're playing really, really good ball. LSU is no slouch, but going to A&M, I got A&M winning.
I agree. Texas A&M, baby.
A&M's been playing some really good ball. And the last thing I do want to talk about, Ashton Jeanty, we talked about him a lot. He has 17 rushing touchdowns so far this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's tied with Dylan Sampson from Tennessee with 17. Can you name the player that has 19 rushing touchdowns?
No, I cannot.
Bryson Daly, the quarterback from Army.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Yeah, those triple option teams. It makes sense. I guess. It doesn't make sense, actually. But it's fine. It's, I don't know who else is scoring on an Army team, honestly. I don't think I've watched an Army game at all this season.
Yeah, no, they've had a couple of long passes, but for the most part, I mean, Bryce Daly in that triple option has just been amazing. 19 touchdowns, I believe he's top 5.
Yeah.
In rushing yards in the country. So that's kind of crazy. Feel like he should be getting a little bit more oh, okay. I was wondering what was going on.
Yeah, it was starting to get a little dark. We're recording in the evening, so I figured I'd fix up the lights, so there we go. I'm a little bit brighter now.
All right.
Can work with that.
There we go. Yeah, but Bryson Daly, honestly, low-key, if he keeps this up, he could break Barry Sanders' touchdown record.
That would be an Army quarterback breaking the rushing touchdown record. All right. I'm down for it. Let's go.
I'm here for it. But, yeah, that's our college football rundown for Week 9.
All right. We're excited. We're going to be tuned in. Maybe not quite as much because, NBA's back, but football's not going to go away. It's not going to go away at all. But our main thing is NBA, so, we'll pay more attention to that. So next, our biggest thing is we are jumping into the award predictions we have brought. But before we get into that, we're going to hear a word from our partner. I am proud to announce we are partnered with Dubby Energy Drink.
Dubby was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash, all while tasting amazing.
If you go to the link in the description, it will take you to our sponsored flavor, Push and Punch.
Use code TIMEOUTJG, that is TIMEOUTJG, at checkout for 10% off your order.
Thank you to Dubby Energy for partnering with us, and back to the episode. Okay, now that we've heard a word from our partner, we've each brought 3 candidates for each major NBA award, and we're just going to pretty much go down with it and see if we agree with anything, and we'll just give out our reasoning. There's no debate here; it's just whatever we think. Do you want to start? You want to start low and work up to the MVP, or do you start MVP and work down?
Let's start at MVP and work down.
You want to start big and work down?
Yep.
Okay. Who is your favorite for the 2024-2025 NBA MVP?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA.
Shai is my number 2 for this season.
Shai's my number 1. The reason he's my number 1 is because a lot of people think he got snubbed from it, and I agree. He's gonna come back with a vengeance this season. I damn near say he's gonna average like 32, 34. And the Thunder are gonna get the 1 seed. He's coming back.
I think it's gonna be tough for him to average that many with J-Dub and Chet, and they have a lot of people on that team that. But I'm not gonna say it's Shai. He averages 30 last year, so he could do it again this year for sure.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be his revenge tour. Like when people said Embiid should have won it over Jokic, and then Jokic last season went on that crazy tear for like 20 games.
He did, yes.
Yep. It just crazy, but
I mean. Shai's phenomenal, man, and he, like I said, he's my number 2. I think he did get snubbed last year. I think he deserved. I mean, I'm not mad Jokic won it, but I think Shai definitely deserved the MVP nod. He's just one of the best. I think we had them both ranked like top 3 point guards in the NBA last season. He, like I said, is a walking 30-point night. He's got a lot of teams around him. They're gonna be good. A lot of times MVP criteria kind of shifts year to year. Some years, like when Westbrook won it, he was like the 6th seed. But then other years, like being the 1 seed matters. OKC is going to be a top 2 to 3 seed in the Western Conference. I think they could be the top seed again this year. So he's going to have the stats. He's going to have the wins. And like he's going to have the impact. He's going to have the big plays. Every night the Thunder play, you see on ESPN or House of Highlights a big play that Shea's made, whether he's dropping somebody, whether he's dunking, whether he's doing a shifty layup, he like getting a steal. Like you see a Shea highlight every single game that they have. So he's going to have the moments. He's going to have the stats. He's going to have the wins. It's going to be really, really tough for him not to win. The reason I have him number 2 is because there's a guy I have at number 1 that's I think has been also not fairly talked about in the MVP odds for the past couple seasons. And I think coming off of a finals appearance is in very, very good running to win MVP. His first MVP, I have Luka Doncic as the MVP favorite for the 2024-2025 season. Do you have him in your top 3?
I have him at number 2.
Okay. So Luka, again, coming off an MVP or coming off a finals run, I think has a lot of hype to win MVP this year. They lose Derrick Jones Jr. They bring in Klay Thompson, who we'll see what Klay Thompson brings to this team. But I think Luka's going to have a lot on his shoulders. He's going to have Kyrie Irving still there. They have Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Derek Lively, or Daniel Gafford's going to be running the center spot. It's not a great team. It's not bad. They were just in the finals, obviously, but it's not a great overall team. The biggest reason they were there is because of Luka, and then Kyrie had his big moment. Luka is a guy that's a walking triple-double.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and obviously triple-doubles today aren't nearly what they were like when Westbrook averaged it back in 2017. But like a triple-double is still a triple-double, and it's a guy that could average 30 points, 10 to 11 rebounds, and then 10 plus assists. Like, this guy is just a phenomenal player. If we get his defensive effort that he gave last year in the playoffs, I don't think we're going to have that the whole season. He's going to have such a crazy offensive workload. They're not going to want him playing that locked-in defense all regular season. But I definitely think if you see him defensively, I think the Mavericks could be a top 4 seed in the Western Conference. He's going to have the stats. I think his overall counting stats are going to be better than Shea's because he's going to have the rebounding. He's going to have the assists that Shea's not going to have. I mean, Shea's obviously going to average his rebound assists, but not as much as Luka, I don't think. And then I think he's going to be a top 4 player. He's going to have his moments. I mean, hell, last year he dropped 70-plus points. Like, he's going to have those big games. Like I said, every night you see a Shea highlight on House of Highlights on ESPN. You see the same thing for Luka. It's always like Luka doing something crazy, hitting a big shot, dropping a defender, or just yelling at the refs. I don't know. He's always doing something that's on these like Instagram pages and Twitter and stuff like that. I just honestly, like you said, I agree. Shea's been overdue for an MVP like last year. But I think Shea got snubbed last year, but I think Luka's overdue for an MVP award.
Yeah, I can respect that. Luka is one. I'm gonna be honest. In a game where everyone wants to say basketball is positionless, Luka is probably almost the best at it.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can pretty much do anything you want or he wants.
He can do anything he wants, what you want, and like you said, Luka is overdue for an MVP. I think if he can put up similar numbers and the overall team improves, they get that top 4 seed. I'm not mad at Luka winning MVP. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. Then who'd you have in as your 3 spot?
Now my 3 spot is kind of, in my opinion, a dark horse to win the award. Some people might not look at him all that much, but I got Ja Morant.
Oh wow. Okay, that's that. Okay. I'll hear your reasoning for that one.
Ja Morant, because everyone has been saying almost negative stuff about him for the past how long? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been like past year plus. Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like he's gonna come back and be like, I'm still here. I'm still one of the better young point guards in the league. You know what I mean? By the end of the season, I feel like he can burst into that top 5 point guard right now.
I agree.
It's just going to be a matter of him being explosive like he's been. You know what I mean? Getting to the rim, dunking on people, getting that outside shot developed, hitting Zach Edey, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., getting them assist numbers up. I think Ja Morant, obviously, he is my dark horse, but I feel like not a lot of people are talking about Ja Morant and what he could do for this Grizzlies team. You know what I mean? Coming back, suspension, the injuries and all that. He's going to have an explosive season. I'm predicting an explosive season from Ja Morant and the Grizzlies to be in the playoffs as a top 5 seed.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I think you might be able to draw comparisons to John Wall and Marcin Gortat for Ja Morant and Zach Edey. Like, in the sense of, I think Ja Morant is going to spoon feed Edey a lot of easy shots under the rim. Ja Morant has such a presence on the court, and has so many eyes on him on the basketball court of all time that a pick and roll between him and Zach Edey is going to be damn near impossible to stop.
Yeah, that's what I was saying this before. I'm just like, with how big Zach Edey is, there's not a lot of defenders that have the height and the size to
Yeah.
stop. I made the comment. I'm just like, go see if Boban will come back.
Yeah, right.
Boban's got the weight. Boban's got the weight. Boban's got that mean attitude. Boban will put up a fight against Edey.
Yeah. My number 3 is a former MVP, Giannis. I think Giannis has to be on a revenge tour this season. He really hasn't played in the playoffs at all since the championship run, and obviously MVP is a regular season award, but they've just consistently been pretty disappointing with their exits, and I don't know. I just think a lot's riding. Giannis seems pretty locked in from what I've been seeing on social media and some of his comments. I think he's pretty locked in this season. I think this is a year where he could be in both DPOY and MVP talks. Now I'll be a spoiler. He's not my top 3 for DPOY, but I think he's a guy that could be a dark horse for a DPOY award because he already has 1 or 2 of them. And I don't know. I just think Giannis. This is the storyline seems to fit in my head that like Giannis comes back after the disappointing past couple seasons and just comes out and is a dominant force. Has a super. I don't know. I don't want to call Damian Lillard a former superstar because I think he still has a superstar ability. But just last year wasn't the best year for Damian Lillard. But really has the best number 2 he's ever had with the Damian Lillard, and just can really really dominate. Because now you can still put up the Giannis wall, but now he's kicking out the Damian Lillard. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like you can't really focus. You're still going to focus more of your attention on Giannis than Damian Lillard, but you can't. Maybe you take an extra body off that wall to put it to Damian Lillard instead, and now Giannis can run through 2 people.
Yeah, unless you're the Celtics, we got Al Horford.
Yeah, we'll see how long Al Horford can keep it up, man. I don't know.
I'm hoping
I don't know.
Keep it up for another year. I'm hoping that them old bones stay together. But no, I like Giannis. I think he even said in an interview, he feels that if the Bucks don't win another championship or get there in the next 2 years, he feels like he could be traded, and the whole thing gets blown up. I don't see that happening because Giannis has been kind of like the golden child for the Bucks. I don't see them getting rid of him too quickly.
But I don't think Giannis gets traded unless he walks into the office and asks to be traded.
Yeah.
I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong.
Hey, maybe he has a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar arc. Maybe he goes to the Lakers after he's done with the Bucks.
I'm not gonna say no to that one. I'm not gonna say no to that at all. All right, next we have our defensive player of the year. Who do you have as your front runner for DPOY?
I feel like most people are gonna say this. I got Wembanyama.
I have Victor Wembanyama as my number 1 as well.
That Spurs team defensively got better, especially adding Chris Paul as the point guard, getting a couple key pieces in the draft. And I mean, it's Wembanyama. People say he should have won it last year.
Mm-hmm.
Wemby is going to get about 3 blocks and about 1.5 steals a game.
Mm-hmm.
And Lord knows the rebounding, what he's going to do next year.
Yep.
It just fits too well for him to not be DPOY.
Like I said, yeah, I think it's my favorite. He's already one of the more versatile defenders in the league after his rookie season. He's a guy that could go out in perimeter, play some perimeter defense. Obviously, can shut down the paint. Averaged over 3 blocks last year. I think he can do it again this year. Gets his steals. Chris Paul is a guy that's known for getting steals. Maybe Chris Paul works with Vic, and we see Vic average 3 blocks, 2+ steals. Like, that would just be an insane. He could be a guy that averages 12, 13 plus rebounds a game. Like, I just think, again, like I said, people said he maybe should have won it over Rudy Gobert last year, and then having a whole offseason, we can only expect he gets even better. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see how the season starts for him. But yeah, I don't know. I think it is almost kind of like a cop-out answer to give Victor Wembanyama, but I think it's just such an easy, it's almost a stupid way to not give that any. Like, it would be stupid not to say Victor Wembanyama in this conversation. But yeah, no. My number 2 is Bam Adebayo.
Oh, I honestly, for my 3, I have 2 people tied at 3 because I couldn't choose one of them, but Bam is tied for 3.
That's right. Yeah. I think, again, Bam, like I just mentioned with Victor Wembanyama, I think Bam Adebayo is or still one of the most versatile defenders. I think Bam is just up there with Vic in that kind of sense. He might not have the block numbers of Vic, but I think he's going to have steal numbers. I think he's a guy that a Bam DPOY season is going to be a season you have to watch him play. You might not look at the stat sheet and be like, oh, it's not going to blow you away. Like I think he's still going to have good counting stats, but it's going to be watching him get switched into a guard and hold his own, watching him get switched onto a wing, hold his own, and then be down in the paint and get the rebounds and play good defense. Like I think a Bam, this is funny. I think a Bam DPOY season is going to be similar to a Jokic MVP season, where it's like you have to watch them on the court to see their full impact, and then I think the advanced stats are really going to do him a lot of favors in that category.
Absolutely, like you said, in my opinion, Bam is the most versatile defender in the league.
Yeah,
he can go up and he can guard your Jokic, and then turn around and then guard Jamal Murray, and then guard Aaron Gordon on a backdoor cut. He can be everywhere, anywhere. I don't think there is a person that Bam can't guard. Now, obviously, you could probably
or at least stay in front of. Yeah,
stay in front of. Guard is a loose term, but keep with. Let's just put it like that. My number 2 is the reigning DPOY Rudy Gobert. I mean,
that's who I have as my number 3. I have him as my number 3.
Okay.
Well,
what's going on?
That's awkward. Levi left mid conversation. We'll see if he comes back. But is he coming back now? Hello.
Oh, hello.
I'm just by myself on there for a second.
Oh, yeah, reconnecting, but we're back. So Rudy Gobert was my second. Your third?
Yes, my third.
Yeah, I mean, reigning DPOY. I feel like the Timberwolves defense is going to go down a little bit because of the acquisition of Julius Randle and departure of Cat.
I don't know.
Because Cat was a bigger body and could stay with.
I think people are forgetting Julius Randle's a pretty damn good defender. And Cat, before this year, Cat really wasn't that good of a defender.
Yeah.
I think I'm not the biggest Julius Randle fan, and I'm not accusing you of this, but I think some people are forgetting Julius Randle was an all-NBA player. Like, I think some people are forgetting how good Julius Randle is because of some of the narratives on his name. Like, I think Julius Randle is a better defender than Cat. I think offensively, Cat's a better player. But I think Julius Randle is going to be a just fine additional defense for that Timberwolves team.
My biggest thing was like when they played Jokic in the playoffs. Seen Cat step up because he had the bigger size and bigger frame than
for sure.
Kind of help.
He also had Rudy on the backside to help.
He did.
Which is Julius Randle's going to have now as well.
Yeah. Do you put Randle on Jokic?
I think so. I think you do. I think because Jokic, Cat didn't stop Jokic. Like he definitely did a good job, but like we can't just act like Cat shut down Jokic. You know what I mean? Like Jokic still had his good games, and I think that's kind of like what you just have to bite as a poison when you're playing Jokic. Like you put Cat on, who did a good job considering, and I think you put Randle on Jokic, he's gonna have a similar effect where it's like he's gonna be able to stop him a few times, and he's also gonna be able to rely on Rudy Gobert on the backside to like, you know what I mean? Like I agree with what you're saying. I think last season, Cat really stepped up in his role defensively and was really good in his role as a defender. All I'm saying is, like I said, I think people are starting to kind of forget how good Julius Randle actually is because he missed a lot of time last season, and then his name and narratives got thrown around with his trade.
Then like I said, for me, it's just the size. You go from 7 foot to 6'9".
Yeah. That's 3 inches. That's a lot. Hey, what am I going to say?
And just pure body weight, Yeah. Because Cat's frame and size.
Julius Randle's a pretty beefy guy too.
I was gonna say, but like Cat's frame and size is different from Randle's. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. I got you. No, I agree with you completely. I just wanted to kind of put that out there for anybody that's like, I think we both understand how good Julius Randle is, and I just wanted to make sure it was clear that like a lot of people have kind of forgotten how good he is because he hasn't played in a little bit. And I just wanted to interject that.
I'm gonna get a little bit of hate for this, but I think Randle brought Knicks basketball back.
I don't think you're gonna get any hate for that. I think that's genuinely what happened. I think they wanted Zion in the draft, they wanted Kyrie, they wanted KD, they struck out on all of them, and they got Julius Randle instead. And I agree, he pioneered this Knicks team to what they are today. Like he came into New York, had his big games. I mean, and then all of a sudden they started bringing in some. They had the RJ Barrett thing, Emmanuel Quigley. They blossom kind of and then get traded away. Jalen Brunson signed. I think you're right. I think Julius Randle signing there was kind of the putting the gears in motion to what they are today.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Randle, and I think he kind of rejuvenated Knicks basketball.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out Julius Randle.
So your 3 was Rudy.
Yeah, I mean, coming off his fourth DPOY, I think he's still going to be. I think he's still going to have the counting stats of like the 2+ blocks, 2.5 blocks. Um, like I said, depending how Julius Randle comes back from his injury, he might maybe even have better counting stats depending how well they still have a good defensive team around them with the Timberwolves. So I don't see any world where he goes from the winner to not even in the top 3 ballot. You know what I mean? Because nothing really changed with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. For my 3, I couldn't really choose between them. I have Anthony Davis and Bam Adebayo.
Okay,
I,
that's fair. That's fair.
I
I
still,
think Anthony Davis is a good pool.
I still think Anthony Davis is one of the best defensive players.
Mm-hmm.
And he just got caught in a world where he was competing with Rudy Gobert.
For sure.
And then Giannis for that 1 year. I feel like in a different reality, Anthony Davis has at least 1 DPOY. Same thing with.
I agree.
So if you take away Rudy for those 4 years, I think Bam's got at least 1, and Anthony Davis has at least 1.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, next, Rookie of the Year. Who do you have as your Rookie of the Year favorite?
Zach Edey.
I have him third. That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about Zach. I talked about Zach Edey a little bit when I was talking about Ja Morant. I mean, 7'4". We've seen him in preseason, and like I said, he's gonna get, like you said, he's gonna get kind of spoon fed from Ja.
Yes, he is.
He's gonna get some passes up towards the rim. All he's got to just grab it, drop it in. He does have that post hook that he does, that go-to move. There's not a lot of guys that are going to be able to block it or even like stop him because of how big he is. I think he's gonna really benefit from playing with Desmond Bane, Triple J, and Ja. He's gonna put together a good season. It's probably gonna look like 10.5 points, 12.5 rebounds, and like 2 blocks.
That's fair. Yeah, I had him at 3. My number 1 is Alex Sarr.
Okay.
I know throughout the summer league and preseason hasn't looked fantastic, but I think he's gonna be one of those guys that just has some of the most opportunity out of any of these rookies. I think Zach Edey's gonna have a big opportunity as well, but he also has Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson. Like he has a lot of other good players around him. Washington's bad. Washington's really, really bad, and I just think because of that, I think he's gonna be the starting 4 to start the season. I just think he's gonna get a lot more opportunity than a lot of the other guys in this draft class are gonna get, and like I think Alex Sarr could be damn near a double-double machine out the gate too. And I think he's going to be a guy that potentially has like bigger moments over Zach Edey because of like he's just going to have the ball in his hand more than I think Zach Edey will. Like I said, I have Zach Edey at 3. I think he has a very, very good case with being on a good team and potentially just getting spoon-fed from Ja Morant. I don't know. I just think at least I'm hoping that he can figure out his mid-range shot and like just defensively be better than we kind of saw earlier preseason and summer league. I just think again opportunity wise. Plus, we're like secondhand Wizards fans, so I kind of want to root for somebody like a homer pick. So I'm gonna go with Alex Sarr for my number 1.
Alex Sarr is my number 2.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the Wizards team is not too good. They don't have that many. I'd say overwhelmingly good pieces.
Yeah, not at all. No.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I think Alex Sarr, he's gonna get a lot of touches early. I think his shooting percentage is gonna be a little bit low just because of that sheer fact. But
yeah,
I think he's gonna be damn near a double-double machine, and he's gonna put us some good defensive stats.
For sure. My number 2 is Reed Sheppard.
Okay.
And the reason I go with the Reed Sheppard over Leo's going again. The reason I go, I'll say, with Reed Sheppard as my number 2 over Zach
What's going on?
is because I think maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think Reed Sheppard
Why is it doing this
has
again?
the ability to do a lot of different things on a basketball court. Where Zach Edey, I think is I don't want to say super limited, but I think Zach Edey is a potentially limited player on the court. Where I think Reed Sheppard has the ability to score from all 3 levels, to pass, defend. Like I just think he has a wider array of talent and abilities on the court, and I think because of that, you might see him play a lot of different roles for this Rockets team. Now, this Rockets team has a lot of young pieces that he's going to maybe lose some minutes behind, and that could be something that hurts his Rookie of the Year case. But I do think when you see Reed Sheppard on the court, I think he's going to be really, really good. I think he's going to be commanding the team. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, and I think that could just go well for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. It did cut out a little bit in the middle of your talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Reed Sheppard, I feel like he's going to get some minutes just because of Reed Shepard's good. He's going to get minutes.
Oh, 100%.
He's going to.
So I went where he did.
Yeah, he's going to have to come off the bench, but he's going to put up some stats, especially possibly, in my opinion, being the backup point guard, commandeering that second year, starting off and on, depending on injuries and stuff like that. But I can't be mad at that. My last one, you could say it's a homer pick. I got Dalton Knecht.
It's not really. I guess you're a Tennessee fan. Okay, I was going to say it's more of a homer pick for me, but okay, I get it.
Tennessee fan. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. If he plays like I think he should, he might crack the starting lineup by midseason, maybe a little bit later. And I know he does play with LeBron, Anthony Davis, D'Lo, but Dalton is a shooter. Let's be honest. He's the epitome of what this Lakers team is. It's just going to depend on how he plays and if JJ Redick is going to be willing to give him that starting spot over Hachimura.
Yeah, I like Dalton Knecht, and obviously that would be if he's a rookie of the year, that means we're probably a pretty good team. I just don't know. I just don't know if he's going to have the opportunity. He had his big moments in preseason, but it's also preseason. A lot of our big name players aren't playing a lot of minutes, stuff like that. But I mean, shout out, he had that big 30+ point game. I don't know. Compared to some of the guys at the top of the draft class, I don't think he's going to be on the court enough to compare statistically with those guys.
Yeah, no, I can agree.
And
that.
Yeah, maybe he does at some I definitely wouldn't be surprised if he starts at some point this season, but I don't know if it's going to be I don't know if he's going to be a consistent starting three. It might just be Rui's not playing tonight, or Rui or Austin Reeves aren't playing, so we put Dalton Knecht in there. You know what I mean? I just don't know if I could be wrong. He could be the starting three at some point in this season, consistently, but we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, good.
Who's your number 3?
My number 3 was Zach Edey. So, like I said, I just think he's going to have a lot of opportunity getting spoon-fed by John Morant, being able to kind of score in the post himself, get offensive rebounds, put him back up. I think counting stats-wise, he's going to have good counting stats. And I think, obviously, the voters for Rookie of the Year are going to look at his stats and see that. And again, if the Grizzlies are a top 5 seed, that's probably going to play some effect on that too.
Absolutely. So, I guess we're on the 6th man of the year?
6th man of the year, who do you have?
I feel like we're going to have back-to-back 6th man of the years. I have Naz Reid as my number 1.
Okay, Naz Reid is my number 2. Well, I was going to make a little... go ahead, do yours, and I'll do mine then.
I was going to say, especially with the acquisition of Julius Randle, he's going to have to step up and play some big-time, big-man minutes when Rudy's not there. Because Julius Randle can play the 5, but I don't think they're going to continuously put him in that position to play the 5 a lot. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
Naz Reid is going to have to step in and fill that void of that back 5. And I feel like there's nothing really saying he's not going to be able to do it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Naz Reid's my number 2 because I actually have his teammate at number 1. Dante DiVincenzo, I have is my favorite for the 6th man of the year. He had a breakout season. He's had a couple good seasons before, but he really had his breakout last year in New York. Had a phenomenal playoff run, and then now seems like he's got himself a new set of some new swagger he's got going on, some newfound confidence he's got going on, and I don't know. Like I said, that's why I have him and Naz Reid at 1 and 2 because I don't really know which one's going to be considered the 6th man, but I think whichever one of them it is going to be the one that wins it. If I'm being honest. I just think Dante's going to come out. He's going to be able to put up points, and the 6th man of the year voters love people that can score. Naz Reid's going to be able to do the same thing. That's why I have him 1 and 2 because really I can't argue one over the other. I think they're both right there. You know what I mean? I'm just I'm going to give my edge to Dante because Naz Reid did win it last year. I think they're going to probably look for somebody else. In that case, I don't know if they're going to want to give it to his teammate, but whatever. I don't know. I just think he's going to be able to come out, make some good defensive plays, score a lot, and they're going to love that.
I have Dante DiVincenzo as my number 3.
Okay. All right. Fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I can't argue with you there. But my number 2 is the guy I believe finished 2nd last year, Malik Monk.
That's my number 3.
We pretty much just have the identical top 3.
We have the same 3 people, just different orders. Yeah.
Hey, great.
That's right. Yeah, but no, like I said, Malik Monk's going to get Malik Monk is going to do the same thing he does. He's going to come off the bench. He's going to score the ball. He's not going to do a lot else besides that, but he's going to score the ball a lot. And I don't know. I think again, like you said, with all these six men, like they're going to come off the bench. You're going to score a lot. They're going to be that spark their team needs off the bench. With a guy like Naz, he's going to offer more defense and rebounding as well. On top of that, maybe that gives him the edge in that category. But we just know that the voters like scoring, so that's why I kind of think they're going to give an edge to a guy that could average 15 plus off the bench. Yeah, for sure. All right, most improved player. Who is your favorite for this season? I Jonathan Kuminga is my number one as well. I think it's lining up for him. Yeah, I think it's really lining up for him. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, I agree. He's like I don't know if he's going to start over Andrew Wiggins at this point in time. That's something they're going to have to figure out what's going on there. Because I think their lineup is set. I think you got Steph Curry, Brandon Podziemski, and then you had that three spot where it's either Andrew Wiggins or Jonathan Kuminga. Then you have Draymond at the four, and then you have Tracy Jackson Davis at the five. And I think just because of the money they're paying him and like his reputation, I think they're going to start Andrew Wiggins at the three to start the year, and Kuminga's probably going to be your sixth man. But I see a world where he very quickly takes that spot. The only thing is, again, you have to hope that Jonathan Kuminga's 3-point shooting comes around because in that starting lineup, you have Curry and Brandon Podziemski that can shoot the three ball. Other than that, not a lot. Andrew Wiggins not a great 3-point shooter. Draymond Green obviously not. Tracy Jackson obviously not. You're hoping Jonathan Kuminga takes that step at the three spot to be able to shoot the three ball to help with the spacing of that team. And he's a guy that he's going to get a lot of ISO minutes too. I think he could definitely like when a Steph Curry's not on the court, he could get a lot of moments where he has the ball in his hand and he can make a lot of plays for the team. And we saw flashes of it last year. He requested a trade, and all of a sudden, Steve Kerr said we're going to start playing him more minutes. And he kind of had a breakout last season. So I do think, like you said, I think all the signs are pointing that Jonathan Kuminga could have a really, really big season this year. Yep. Yep. 100%. My next one is a guy that I don't. It's Cam Thomas. So I think because he's just going to have way more opportunity this year because this Nets team is going to be really, really bad. And I just think he's going to have the opportunity to kind of showcase himself that he can score the ball. There's not a lot else he does besides score the ball, but he's going to put up a lot of points. And again, voters love that. I think he averages 20 plus points this year, and just like kind of getting the ball out on a bad Nets team. And that's kind of my rationale behind it. There's not a lot more with it. I think a lot of people just understand that like a guy that was a fringe starter backup role is just all of a sudden going to get a lot of minutes as long as he stays healthy. A lot of minutes on the court and just up there chucking the ball up there because not a lot of other people are on the team. Huh. Hell yeah. Okay, solid. Do you have any more to add to that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So at my number 3 spot, I had two people that okay. He's really having a hard time with his internet this episode. Sorry about that, guys. Um, I'll just go ahead and say my number 3, and I'll let him know if he comes back. But my number 3, actually, I was debating between two people because I think for different reasons, I had two different people. One of my number 3 guys was Denny Avdia in Portland now from the trade from Washington. My other guy was Darius Garland. And my Darius Garland case isn't quite as strong as my Denny Avdia case, so maybe I just go with Denny Avdia. But the case that I kind of was holding out for and the case I was trying to make for a guy like Darius Garland is that last year he had a bit of a down year compared to the years before. But again, he still statistically had a decent season, and I don't know how much better his stats can really get with a guy like Donovan Mitchell on his team. So I don't know if he makes that jump. I think he's going to be better this year, but I don't know if he's statistically going to be good enough to make that most improved player jump. So the reason I kind of decided to go with a guy like Deni Avdija for my 3 spot is because he had a breakout stretch of the season last year in Washington, then gets traded to Portland, where Portland's still a young team trying to figure out everything. Like, they have DeAndre Ayton, okay. You have Jeremy Grant, okay. You have Robert Williams, who literally cannot stay on the court to play basketball, unfortunately. You have Scoot Henderson, who had a pretty rough rookie year, hoping he's better this year. Shaedon Sharpe already injured to start this year. Anthony Simons don't know if he's going to be on the team. At the wing spot, they don't really have a lot going on. So I think Deni Avdija can come in and be the starting 3 right away and is kind of a vet on this team. It's weird to think of Deni Avdija as a vet on a team, but you have Jeremy Grant and DeAndre Ayton. Other than that, it could be Deni Avdija being a vet. And I just think he could be a crazy good connecting piece at that 3 spot where he can shoot the ball, he can defend, he can, like I said, move the ball down to Ayton, up to the guards. Like, I just think plug and play Deni Avdija is going to be fantastic, and he could be my dark horse for it. Mm-hmm. Maybe. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think my reasoning for not putting him on is the same I didn't put Darius Garland on, is that I think last year he had a good year. And I just don't, like, if you look at his statistics through the first, 4 years in the league, it's kind of been very similar. I just don't know with Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, and still Jared Allen on the team, if there's, like, any room for him to make that jump. That's kind of my reasoning I didn't put him on there. Yeah. Okay. So that's going to do it. Go ahead. What was that? Yeah, okay. Coach of the year, I had where the hell did I not put Mike Budenholzer. Now this is a weird one, I know, but I think there's a chance the Phoenix Suns could be pretty damn good this year. They bring in Monte Morris and Tyus Jones, 2 point guards, where last year they really didn't have any point guards on a roster. And like I think you run a lineup of Tyus Jones, and then either Devin Booker, Bradley Beal at the 2, and then the other one at the 3, and then Kevin Durant, and then Yusuf Nurkic. And then you have Grayson Allen off the bench, who's one of the better shooters in the league. And they have some wing guys, Rose O'Neal, and stuff like that. Then you have Monte Morris. Like, I think they have a better rotation this year than they did last year, and they obviously have the top-end talent with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. And honestly, like, I could see them being a top 4 seed and that being good enough for Mike Budenholzer to win a Coach of the Year, considering they were in the play-in or they're the 6th seed last year. They were low down there last year. I think they could jump up a couple spots, and that could be enough to give Mike Budenholzer the nod on it. Like, I know this might be a little bit of an unpopular one, but I do think definitely he has the ability for them to be a good team. And sorry, everything going on with Levi on that side. I think, like I said, I think if they're a top 4 seed, his name gets thrown into that mix of Coach of the Year. All right. Since he's gone again, I'll just go ahead and give my next one is Ime Udoka. Similar reason for, like, I guess as for Mike Budenholzer. This Rockets team obviously has like a lot going on, and my hair's a mess right now. My God. Ime Udoka and this Rockets team have a lot going on. I think they're a very boomer bust potential team. They could be a play-off team. They could be a play-in team. But I think if they're a top 5 seed potentially, I think Ime Udoka gets that nod because they're a young team that has a couple veterans on it. But I think if they really buy into that defensive identity and just really lock in, I think Ime Udoka can get the nod. This is interesting. I'll just go ahead and give my third while we're here. Tom Thibodeau is my third. The Knicks had a really big offseason. They bring in Mikal Bridges. They bring Karl-Anthony Towns, and they were what the 2 seed last year. Now I get it. The 76ers had their injuries and stuff like that, but the Knicks ended up being the 2 seed, and I don't see any reason they're not a top 3 seed in the East again. And Tom Thibodeau, I think, like I said, they have the stars now. They have Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. I don't know who's like Cat's there. They have Josh Hart. Obviously, like they have a lot of pieces where I think they could be a top seed. And I just think that he could get it. You know what I mean? I think if they're top 3 seed with all the moves they made in the offseason, if they have a playoff run like they did last year, I think they're going to want to give it to a Tom Thibodeau because of it's also New York bias. New York's a big market. And I think that might play a bit of a role in it. I might just tell Levi to just not worry about it. I'll go ahead and finish the episode. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. Just because it keeps cutting out. I don't know what's going on with them. We've been using a new recording studio for like 2 or 3 weeks now, and like for the most part, it's pretty good. But sometimes like internet for him, I don't know if it's his internet or it's the app. It just kind of seems to be messing up sometimes. But you know, it is what it is. So that's our predictions for the award races. The NBA starts tonight. I think. What time does the first game start? It's 6:30 on Tuesday night as we're recording this right now. NBA schedule. Let's pull this up here. Next game, 7:30. So we literally 1 hour, 7:30 Eastern time, 1 hour from the end of this podcast until it starts. So let us know down below your predictions for game 1 and game 2. Well, I guess by the time this comes out, you guys will know the final score. So it doesn't really matter. But I think, like I said at the beginning of the episode, I have the Celtics winning, I have the Timberwolves winning. The Knicks are a very interesting team, but I think it might take them a few games into the season to kind of fully figure out their rotation and figure out the fit with Cat down there at the 5 spot. And obviously Mikal Bridges, who his jump shot looks really, really bad right now. He hasn't been shooting well, so that's kind of a rough thing for Knicks fans they have to kind of worry about. So I wouldn't be surprised if the first couple weeks of this, the first like 10 or so games, they only have 4 to 5 wins. Maybe not that bad, but like 5 to like 6 wins, just because they're still trying to figure it out. And the Celtics are defending champs. They're pretty much the same team as last year. I think they're going to hold it down. And then the Lakers, I just don't really have a lot of hope for right now. That's pretty much what it is. I watch them. I just don't have a lot of hope for them. And I think the Timberwolves they're on the other side of that Rudy Gobert or that Cat trade with Julius Randle. I'm interested to see how that kind of works out against LeBron and AD. But yeah, that is my picks for tonight's game or yesterday's game as you're seeing this. So I probably look like an idiot for some of you. But it's fine. It's just past tense. That is going to do it, though, for this episode of Time Out with J and G. I'm just going to finish this one by myself, I guess. It's all good. Tune in next Wednesday we'll probably be reacting to the first week, probably our overreactions for the first week of the NBA season. Go check out my channel, Cloud2K. I do, obviously, 2K content. I do some other games every Friday just to kind of mix it up. And I do my Cloud Report starting every Sunday. Last Sunday was the first week of it. And it's just going to be, like I said, me recapping the past week in the NBA. And then if you go follow my Twitter, Cloud2K, you guys can ask me, like I put a question on like Friday, Saturday about like, what question do you guys have for me to answer? And I'll take a couple questions out of whatever you guys respond with on Twitter, and I'll answer those at the end of the episode. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys next week. Peace.